I decided to rank every single Marvel Rivals skin in the game. As a quick note, this game genuinely has the best character designs and skins of any game I've ever played, bar none. I'm gonna rip into some of these, but know that even the F tiers in this game look better than most games' S tier skins. There's not a single skin in this game I actually dislike. We're going in chronological order, so we're starting with Adam Warlock. Starting with the classic skin, I like it a lot. He's really visually distinctive, and the look feels very 80s. Not one of my favorites, but a good base. B tier. Now, his recolor on the other hand, I like this a lot less. The green just clashes with the gold in a really ugly way. It feels like he has all the colors of the vomit rainbow now. Plus, they turn his gold skin pale and it just looks weird and sickly. But since it's a recolor, it keeps the core look, which still looks great, so I'm gonna give it a C tier. The Guardians 3 look, it just makes him look even more like a Chad. I honestly prefer it to the original. A tier. Alright, I'm just gonna immediately give the Blood Soul skin an S. This shit looks so good. It's incredibly detailed, and it really makes him look like a cult leader. I love it. He looks like he's gonna sacrifice a bunch of virgins to the elder god Beelzebub. Now can they give him a fucking movement buff? Will of Galacta. I mean, it's alright, I guess. It's certainly better than the other Galacta skins, but I'm never gonna be a fan of this weird-ass color scheme and how it meshes with the base skins. D tier. Black Panther. Black Panther's classic skin is already an A tier. It just looks so good, bro. And I'm not even a huge Black Panther fan. Most Black Panther looks put a lot of purple on him, but this one only have hints of purple and instead decorates his suit with accents of gold. And I think it looks so classy. Also, they made his ass bigger in the last update, and I have to give extra points for that. The recolor Orisha Blood is clean, but it feels like it loses a little bit of the personality of the original. I think it's the fact that gold accents are switched to silver. I'm gonna give it a B tier. Galactic Claw looks like if Black Panther was in Warhammer. It ties together a sci-fi theme with a classic animalistic look, and I'll fuck with it. I'm gonna give it an A tier as well. Bast's Chosen is the look of a man who fucks with a capital F. Hide your woman when this man comes walking around, because if she sees him, she's not going to be your woman anymore. A tier, just on the cusp of being S tier. Thrice Cursed King. T'Challa is now literally a vampire, and it goes so hard. I will say I'm not a fan of how these red lines glow in gameplay. It kind of just looks like LEDs. And I do think it would have worked a little bit better if he had some type of headgear, because currently the outfit feels a little lopsided without it. But overall, this is really classy. A tier. Black Widow. The classic outfit. B tier. Lethal Toxicity is just no. God, no. This looks like if Natasha was a Gen Zer who strapped $5 Amazon fairy lights onto her. D tier. The white suit. A tier. Lion's Heartbeat is actually really cool. I wasn't expecting to like this as much as I do. I think its identity is very much not Black Widow, so I can't give it full points, but I think the design is great, and it's really unique. B tier. Mrs. Barnes. The fact they're giving this skin away for completely free is wild, because this is absolutely her best skin, and I know pretty much any Black Widow player would pay for this. If I had to get really nitpicky, then I think her batons are a little too high-tech looking, and I'd prefer them to be mostly wooden. And her gauntlet bracer things don't really mesh well with the rest of the outfit, but overall it looks fantastic, and I really dig the slanted hat. High A tier. Hulk! Starting with the classic design, I love this. This is the perfect Hulk design. He looks like a fucking wall, and you can see every muscle jutting out. And I like the detail of a little bit of the purple shirt poking out from his pants, and I love how unintimidating Bruce looks in comparison. A tier. Now, I get the point of Mighty G-Bomb. It's based on his original design, but it's just so much more bland compared to his normal one. The gray doesn't stick out nearly as much, and seeing Bruce in an orange shirt makes me realize how important the purple is. Now he just looks like an office worker named David who reshares Minion memes on Facebook and is a closeted Trump supporter. C tier. Green Scar. Yeah, S tier. Alright, this one just released today as of recording this. Punk Rage. I'm really conflicted on what to say about this one, because objectively they did a good job. This is a good skin. I just personally don't like it because I don't like the punk wastelander aesthetic. I'm not sure what I'm really supposed to do here because this is meant to be an opinionated video that's subjective, but I don't feel right saying it's D tier just because I personally dislike it. So I'm gonna go for the middle and say B tier. Captain America. Alright, now I've seen people give his basic skin a lot of shit, but hot take, I actually like it. Sure, it's very techy, but in lore, this is supposed to be a version of him from 2099, so it fits him. It's not like absolutely amazing, out of this world, but I think people give it way too much shit. B tier. Now the Captain Gladiator skin, I do not like this. I do not like any part of this. I'm not gonna give it F tier, because I can see where they were going with this, and there's definitely some people who would like it, but D tier. Avengers Infinity War, what the fuck did they do to his face? The skin is good, but I can't pay attention to anything but his face. Why does he look so angry? He always had a minor scowl, but the beard really accentuates it, and it just makes him look pissed off. C tier. Now, the Piss Minion skin, this is SSS tier. We cannot humanly comprehend the true beauty of this skin. This was not created by an artist. No. This was created by a god. Every part of it was purposely and perfectly crafted and chosen. From the horribly clashing colors to the ugliest shade of mustard yellow you've ever seen. It's just divine. No other way to describe it. Divinity in its purest form. Also, guess what? Cap has another skin I bet you weren't even aware existed. Galactic Talon. Yeah, this actually existed. This is not a psyop, and yes, I just found out about this too. It was only in the game for, I think, a week, which is why no one has ever really seen it. And the worst part is this is Cap's best skin. Why did they permanently get rid of his best skin? S tier. Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger's base skin is honestly just perfect. I seriously don't think they could make one that's better than this. Its colors are perfect, its design is perfect, the details are perfect. S tier. The recolor just makes it dramatically worse. Given the whole point is that their designs are opposites, making them have a matching color palette kinda just feels like you've missed the entire point. I really don't like this. D tier. Now, what about their other skin? Okay, a lot to take in here. She has fins and like a grass crown thing, and his cloak has spikes, and his head looks like that. Yeah, F tier. So you remember how I said there's no way to improve on the original? Yeah, I was wrong. This is straight up one of the most fire skins in the entire game. I adore every single part of this. I love the color scheme. It brings back that clashing feel the base skin has, with Cloak skin popping with purple while Dagger has the complete monochrome look. And the only connection the two suits have is that same tint of gold accents. I don't even play Cloak and Dagger that much, but I'm really tempted to buy this. S tier. Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange might have the best roster of skins in the game. Like, the designers must be the biggest Strange glazers with the designs they keep pumping out for him. His base skin is immediately an A tier on the cusp of S. It just looks fucking amazing. I love the details of how his cape moves around because it's alive, how his necklace shifts into different positions, how his arm shields look. All the details are fantastic. And its recolor is just as good, maybe a smidge less. A tier to both. Now the God of Magic skin, holy fuck bro, S tier. This is an insane look. I especially love the white streak in his hair. Sorcerer Immortal is another fat S tier. At first I didn't fully love this, but the more I look at it, the more I appreciate it. I mean, the guy had a coat made out of a dragon. How can you not love this? And finally, he is the Sorcerer Supreme of the Galaxy. Do I really need to even say anything about this one? Who gave him permission for this much drip? Fucking Dormammu? S tier. Groot. Groot's base skin is alright. I think it looks good, but his face really puts me off. I don't know, I guess I just prefer when Groot's face is permanently neutral, and this one looks like it's constantly smiling, which puts me off for some reason. C tier. His recolor, for some reason, completely fixes it. I don't know why. His face is unchanged, but it just looks so much better. He looks more evil, I guess, and it makes the smile not look as dopey. Plus, the mushrooms growing out of him feel much more pronounced, and it adds little falling particles, which just look nice. B tier. Carved Together is another take that works way better for me. I like how many little details are on this one, like the lantern and the keys on his back, which is held there by a belt made of barbed wire. He also has tons of words etched onto him, which I'm sure means something, but I'm too stupid to figure it out. And they change how his face looks to just look a lot better. B tier. Holiday Happiness is adorable and I love it. His Santa beard single-handedly makes it for me. And the fact his chest is a snow globe is so creative. My one complaint is I think the tree pants are a little bit too leafy. I think I would have preferred his legs to still be wood, just with leaves poking out of them. rather than it being 99% Leaf apart from his kneecaps. A tier. His Guardians 3 look is... oh no. Listen, I love Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I think it's the best MCU movie by a long shot, but I've never been a fan of the way Groot looks in that movie, and this adapting it is naturally going to result in it looking like this. I mean, I complained about the face before, but this is so much worse. Oh my god. Oh my god, is that fucking teeth? Is that fucking teeth? Why does he have teeth? Oh my god, I was gonna give it a D tier, but because of how viscerally uncomfortable that makes me, I'm sorry, but F tier. Hawkeye. This is another one of those S tier base looks. I haven't seen Hawkeye look this good since EMH. Speaking of which, I'm very sad his alternate skin isn't that one. Every part of this works so well. The blonde hair, the mask, the hood around his shoulders. God, it just looks so fucking cool. His recolor is definitely much worse, but I actually don't hate it. I'll give it a B tier. And we have the free fall skin. I hate this. Why does his face look like that? Why is it so angular? He genuinely looks like he's constantly mewing. Clint, please stop mogging the camera. And the glasses just make him look like Dr. Disrespect. And the hair is certainly doing him no favors. Sorry, but D tier. Hey, remember that cap skin no one's ever seen before? Yeah, Hawkeye also had one that was bundled with that. Galactic Fang. Now, yes, I know it looks like a Power Ranger, but honestly, I like it. This just feels cool. It's highly derivative of his normal skin though, which is a bit unfortunate. The helmet is really the only thing making it different, but I do like it. A tier. Hela. For Hela's base skin, God, this shit looks so good. She looks like a satanic dominatrix, and you know what? I'm into it, even if those nails would rip my foreskin off. I'm gonna give it A tier. Now, her recolor, on the other hand, you know, maybe going to hell doesn't sound so bad. I think the green looks a little bit better, but her eyes on her recolor are more intimidating, and gooning aside, I actually like the cutouts on her armor. They sorta work like accents. A tier. Goddess of Death is meant to be sort of a reimagining of her original 60s look. I think it's unique and pretty cool, but the hood is a little goofy. I'm gonna go B tier. Empress of the Cosmos, holy shit, she literally has a black hole in her tits. Not to mention the fucking eyes of Ender floating on her crown thing. This is another skin which I think is just barely on the cusp of S tier. But I'm gonna put it in A tier as well. Will of Galacta Hela, dear fucking god no, F tier. The Human Torch. For Johnny's base skin, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the hugest fan. As a number 1 Johnny Stormblazer, I'm gonna be a little bit harsher on him than other characters. And this base skin is the weakest of the Fantastic Four in my opinion. I don't know, the costume feels a bit over-designed with the spine column. The colors feel very off. I know all the FF have white as their primary color in this game, but it doesn't work as well for Johnny, I feel. I think it's because the fire mainly pulls around his arms, head, and legs, which leaves his torso feeling naturally barren, and then since it's all white, it just adds to the barrenness of it. Also, I don't like how his hair flicks up in the back. C tier. The first family recolor definitely fixes the barren feeling. This is much better. And honestly, I know everyone's already said this, but the first family skins should have been the base skins for all of the FF, except maybe Sue. B tier. Negative Zone Gladiator. Alright, now not only is this based on one of Johnny's coolest moments in the comics, but this skin literally fixes every problem I have. The hair doesn't flick up, the colors don't leave any part feeling barren, and his ass still looks great. A tier. Invisible Woman. Alright Gooners, it's time to rejoice. This is the only one of the Fantastic Four where I actually prefer her base skin to the recolor. The colors mesh perfectly, I love her hair and other features. Honestly, I think this is an S tier. I just can't think of any way you could make Sue's base look better. For the recolor, it looks great, but I do prefer the white on her. Don't take that out of context. This suit just feels a little less varied with these colors, even though I know it's basically the same thing. I'm gonna give it an A tier. Blood Shield, okay, yeah, this is an S tier too. The colors of this are so good, and her hair really ties it all together. I also love the emblem she has on her back. The one note I have is that they, for some reason, brightened her eyes, and it looks a bit off if you look close. S tier. The Life Fantastic. Oh my fucking god, this is so adorable. This cannot go anywhere but S tier. Fellas, is it gay to want to be a beautiful woman in her wedding dress on the happiest day of her life? Don't answer that. And finally, Malice skin. S tier. Iron Fist. Ah, the immortal Iron Fist. My main. This man needs more skins ASAP. His base skin is pretty good, not one of my absolute favorites, but it works. I'd say its biggest flaw is how empty his back is. In a game like Rivals, the back is what you're looking at for 99% of the time you're playing, so it's pretty important. Trust me, the Invisible Woman skins really understood that. So I wish Iron Fist had more of a design on his back. Or, you could just give him a fat ass. I wouldn't complain. Make Rivals equal, baby. Give all the men cake. You know what the fans want, Netties. B tier. For the recolor, I don't have too many thoughts on it. It's a pretty clean design, but honestly, every time I look at it, I feel like I flip on whether I like it more or less than the original version. So I gotta rank it B tier. Swordmaster. I fucking hate this skin. Listen, man, I just do not gel with this. Why are his titties out? I mean, I know I just asked for more sexualization from the men, but this is not what I meant. This is like the difference between flirting versus sexual harassment. Put your mommy milkers away, man. There are fucking kids playing this game. And what's with that scarf? Bro looks like he's about to hit me with the juiciest gossip while wearing this thing. And oh god, the headband that just covers up his eyebrows. It feels so wrong. F tier. Lion's Gaze. Man, I feel conflicted on this one. I mean, it's fine, I guess. I like the design, and I like being able to see more of his face without any coverings or scarves in the way. But I think what's holding me back from really liking this is the fact we just don't have a good serious skin for him yet. I don't like how fluffy the design is for a character who's meant to be agile and quick moving. And I'm not a huge fan of the headpiece. I'm gonna give it a C tier. Now, NetEase, if you're listening, which I know you aren't, if you ever do collabs with other studios, look at Iron Fist, look at his face, look at his hair, look at his build, look at his eye cover, look at how his main color is yellow, look at the way he fights. NetEase, come on, you know what to do. Iron Man. Alright, I'm gonna do a 2-in-1 review here. His base skin and his endgame skin. I feel so conflicted on these, because I love the suit of his base skin, but I don't like the helmet. His weird tilted eyes and lit up side panels just look weird to me. But on his endgame suit, his helmet looks amazing, but his suit looks weird and barren without the huge arc reactor. I wish I could swap the helmets on these. I'm gonna have to give both of them the same rating, C tier. Superior Iron Man. Oh god, I'm gonna piss so many people off with this one. I don't like this at all. The shoulders are so weird, and I hate how his gauntlets protrude out but then cut off at the elbow. It feels like a Lego character with random shit attached onto it. And the back is just an absolute mess. I mean, what the fuck am I looking at right now? His helmet is a bit better than the base skin, though. It's crazy how much better it looks just by taking away the brow protrusion. It's not sexually assaulting me like the Swordmaster skin, so I'm not going to give it an F tier, but it's going in D. The Armor Model 42 is just a better looking version of the base skin. Nothing else to really say about it. B tier. The Blood Edge. Okay, if the rest of Iron Man's suits are pretty mid, this one single-handedly makes up for it. This design is perfect, from the skulls of the damned lining his shoulders, to the sword running down his spine which turns into like a bone whip thing. And don't even get me started on that helmet. Oh my god, I'm gonna bust all over the screen. S tier. This is the only Iron Man skin you should get. Since I recorded the voiceover, there's now a new Iron Man skin, Steam Power. Okay, this is fucking amazing. Finally, Iron Man gets another actually good skin. This is an insanely good steampunk design, from the exhaust pipes, to the cogs and gears turning his back, to the literal furnace in his chest powering the whole thing like an arc reactor. This is so good. S tier. Jeff the Land Shark. Jeff is just a little baby. How can I not give him A tier? His recolor is just Jeff if he had a horribly colored collar and a skin disease. C tier. The blue is really important to his look, so taking away just makes him look like he's dying of some strange cancer. Incognito Dolphin. Okay, this skin is cute, but I do have to dock points given it's the only skin in the game which actively makes you play worse. Like, seriously, this is what it looks like when you use the skin. That is horrible. The skin is cute, but given that it puts you at an actual disadvantage in gameplay, and this is all you're gonna see while using it, I can't really give it higher than a D tier.
Also, Cuddly Fuzzle skin is really adorable. A tier.
Loki. Loki is the god of mischief and the god of drip. You know it's a good sign when a character's base skin is already an S tier. Everything about this flows so well. You can really tell this man has the riz of someone who fucks horses for a living. I also quite enjoy the fact he has 2 coats for some reason. The Frost Giant recolor. Now this is how you do a tit window. Yeah, hear that, Iron Fist? I do think the original skin blends a little better because this one cuts out all the green in favor of more gray, but it's still S tier. Loki Season 2 is, I don't know, it's just meh. If the Frost Giant skin didn't have enough green, this one has way too much. Like, it's literally the only color here. And I think Loki's face definitely looks better with the helmet. Without it, he just looks so bare and exposed. It's odd. D tier. Do I even have to say anything here? Can I put something above S tier? Yeah, you know what? Fuck you. I make the rules. SSS tier. Presidential attire. Bro, they cannot stop cooking with the Loki skins. How the fuck did they release 2 triple S tiers in a row? This is ridiculous. If you play Loki, you need this or the Old Butcher skin. It's not up for debate. Luna Snow. Alright baby, time to let out my inner e-girl with Luna Snow. Honestly, I've always felt like she looks a little barren, yet cluttered at the same time. Her torso and up looks alright, but I think it's her shorts that are the core issue. The shorts being completely gray just cuts up her color scheme, although using the word color scheme, I don't know if that really applies here. Because there is so much shit going on if you really look at it. She has a black coat and thigh highs, navy blue accents going up her thigh highs and peeking out of her shorts, an ever so slightly lighter medium blue top with a white accent, gray shorts, black and white hair, a completely frozen left arm with no sleeve. The inside of her coat is fucking neon turquoise, and to top it all off, she has 2 different colors of eyes. One hazel, which doesn't match any other color, and one blue, which some fucking how doesn't match any of the other 18 variations of blue on this outfit. Oh yeah, and she has another blue color on this moon thing on her back. D tier. This is an incoherent jumble. The recolor. I have no idea how to feel about this. It technically fixes most of the design issues I just brought up. Like, this is a better design. But it also makes her look like toxic slime. I'm gonna give it C tier, but I feel weird about it. Shining Star, now this is what I'm talking about. This is what her base skin should have taken way more inspiration from. It flows together amazingly well, it looks great, and I'm sorry, did she just grab her non-existent hood? A tier. Murray 2099. Honestly, this skin shows how much would be fixed if they just turned her shorts into pants. This skin looks like it's purposely designed to be more cluttered than her normal one, yet it feels more cohesive. Plus, this is basically just what would happen if we got a Brazilian Miku version of Luna Snow. You know what? Fuck it. B tier. Magic. Oh my god, please stab me. Oh my god, please stab me. Oh my god, please stab me. Honestly, S tier. This is such a kick-ass design for her. I can't even really put into words why I like this skin so much. It just looks great. I like the barely perceptible little strands of purple and mint in her hair. S tier. Amethyst armor is just a worse version of the original one. I love purple, but this kind of just highlights the wrong parts. And I don't like how it disconnects the colors of her top half and her bottom half. I think this would have worked way better if the pink lights on her silver armor were replaced with a darker purple, more similar to her leggings, and if they swapped her knee pads and garter to be silver. Then the whole outfit would have flowed better. This color disconnect reveals how much of her is just her legs, and the silver definitely skews some proportions. Still a B tier though. Eldritch armor. Oh my god, please stab me. Oh my god, please stab me. Oh my god, please stab me. This armor is so fucking sick. This is the type of shit that men see and say, hell yeah. I love minimalized color and the way the skin balances the pure white with the flickers of blue flame. God, it's so cool. S tier. The Winter Demon skin is actually one of my favorite event skins because it just works even when it's not tied to the event. Most of the event skins look really goofy when not tied to the event, but this one just looks good. My one gripe is I wish the orange on her top was swapped out for blue for more cohesion. B tier. Also, this skin literally just came out. Punk Child, which, yeah, SSS tier. I don't even play Magic, and I bought this. I mean, come on now. I can finally achieve my inner dreams of becoming a goth girl. Magneto. Daddy. I mean, Magneto's base skin is a perfect example of what you can do with minimal color. I mean, I don't think you can have much more minimal than this, but it works amazingly well. This feels like the armor of a man who's been fighting for longer than your grandparents have been alive and has an iron will. No pun intended. I really adore this skin, but I don't think it quite hits S tier. But goddamn, it's scraping it. The highest of A tier. Now its recolor, on the other hand, instant S tier. This feels like a Magneto who's completely given up on hope and empathy. All he seeks is revenge for those unfortunate mutants who did. This takes the minimalism even farther. The purple accents on the armor are so unpronounced you can't even tell they're there unless you're looking at certain angles. I love the subtlety to it. Now, Masters of Magnetism is the opposite of subtle. And honestly, I don't think I like it as much as I wish I did. I think this skin's actually really good for most of it, but the parts that are bad are the ones you're going to pay attention to the most. Let's start with the smallest problems. Why does his cape trail off in color like this? Nothing else on the skin trails off in color. Although I actually think that would have been a banger skin idea if they did that with the whole skin. But when it's just the cape, it feels disjointed. I don't really like this Magneto logo, and it puts it front and center both on his belt and his cape, which is what you're going to be looking at when you use it during gameplay. Then we have these weird little nubs on his chest plate and shoulders. I don't particularly like them, but after examining it for a while, I think what I dislike more is the head space he has. It makes his head look really tiny, like a kid wearing his dad's suit. And now we get to the final thing. I just don't like anything that's going on in this head region. I don't like the long hair, I don't like the lack of a beard, and I especially don't like the head spikes. All I can think of when I look at him is some weird Batman edit from r/Arkham Asylum. With how much I've been shitting on this, you're probably thinking I'm going to give it an F, but nah, I'm actually giving it a C tier. I just really like dissecting the X-Men skins. King Magnus. I just spent 29 years on the last one, so I'll keep this short and sweet and say I like it a decent amount. But it ends up feeling a little square around the top. Without a helmet, his head is exposed, which is already square-shaped. And then his shoulder plating is replaced with tassels that are also square at the top. It adds up to him feeling very cube-like. I think I would have liked if he had some kind of crown. He is meant to be a king in this design after all. The cape single-handedly makes up for all my issues though. B tier. Will of Galacta. Jesus fucking Christ, no. F tier. Mantis. So, strange fact about Mantis, her face changes with every skin, like her actual face morph. I don't particularly like the one she has on her base skin. Also, the picture for her skin makes it look like she has completely blackened eyes, but she doesn't actually have those on the skin, which feels like a major missed opportunity to me. I think it would have looked better with the black eyes. As for the rest of the outfit, I think it looks great. It feels very forest elfy, which fits Mantis's personality, but I'm not a huge fan of her antennas bending like this. I'm gonna give it a low B tier. For the recolor, honestly, it feels like a stretch even calling this a recolor. This feels like one of the most different recolors that any character has, and honestly, I think I like it a bit better than the original. Not by a huge amount, but it is an improvement. B tier. Her Guardians Volume 3 skin fixes every problem I had with the base skin, and more I didn't even realize I had. Her entire head area looks so much better, the face model is perfect, the antenna look way better, her hair is better, it's just a huge improvement. I'm not a massive fan of the Guardians 3 skins in this game, since I feel like they're kinda basic, but honestly, I think this is Mantis's best version. A tier. Jade Maiden. You know, I've never seen someone use this skin before, and I think there's a reason for that. D tier. I'm conflicted on the Galactic Wing skin. It's good, but I think it loses a lot of the personality of Mantis. Like, if you didn't know this was a Mantis skin, and someone asked you which character this was, how long would it take you to answer? I'm gonna go B tier. Mr. Fantastic. Oh, they gave him the weird spine column thing. This base skin is honestly really good. It has a lot of white, but through clever use of slanting and side panels of blue, it manages to not feel barren. Plus, the white helps highlight his stretching, so I don't have any problem with it here. A tier. But of course, the First Family recolor is just a little bit better. I'm always going to prefer the FF in their classic blue. Also, it helps hide that stupid fucking spine column, which is slowly becoming the bane of my existence. Although I do gotta ask, what's going on with these little LEDs? They're on the base skin too, and they're completely random. Anyway, A tier. The Maker skin is Well, it's pretty comic accurate, but man, I want to like this skin, but it's just so disproportional. And I know that's not at all the fault of NetEase, it's just how the outfit originally looks, but this massive headpiece really throws off the balance when the rest of the costume is skin tight with pretty much nothing apart from these chest orbs. He ends up looking like a jackass with an Apple Vision Pro strapped to his forehead at all times. The extra accents they added definitely make it feel a little bit more balanced, certainly better than the original version, but I'm unfortunately going to give it a C tier. And finally, we have the Life Fantastic. It's adorable, and of course it's going to get an S tier just like Sue's did. And I will not be listening to anyone who says otherwise. Moon Knight. Moon Knight, my favorite superhero. I might be a little more rough on these ones. Starting with his base skin, they cooked so hard here. It's not really comic accurate, but it fits into the rival's style well, and I don't really care. I think too many people get caught up on if the skins are comic accurate, and they forget that Rivals has a specific style it's going for. The only thing I don't really like about the skin is the onks on the knees. I think they're a little dumb, but with the all white, they aren't really noticeable, so it's fine. I'm gonna give this an A tier. For the Blood Moon Knight, oh fuck, that's the one thing they're gonna highlight in white. Now, setting aside the questionable choices of the onks and the fact that making Moon Knight black kinda loses the whole point, the skin is dope. I'm not gonna get caught up in all the nitpicks, and I'll admit this just looks great. I love the new emblem on the cape, which is, I believe, meant to be a sword going through Dracula's head. He really should have paid his money. These skins make sure to highlight a core part of Mark. No matter how terrible his life gets, no matter how much he loses himself, no matter how much Khonshu takes control, he will always have immaculate drip. This man will not step 1 foot outside his home without making sure he looks good, because he's a fucking diva. Anyway, A tier. And the Gold Moonlight version is even better. Honestly, this is Moon Knight's best skin, and I'm so mad I missed out on getting this. This is the only version where I think the onks look actually good. I think onks really only look good in gold, and any other color is off. The gold really highlights the best parts of the costume, and I'm gonna give it S tier. Lunar General, you couldn't have given this to anyone else? Like, man, this just doesn't fit Moon Knight, I'm sorry. I actually think most of this is pretty good. The big offenders are this frilly thing that pops out the bottom of the chest plate, this orange scarf thing that floats above him, and of course the biggest problem, the mask. I love the idea of a skin with an Oni mask, but I don't think it should have been Moon Knight. However, I can appreciate the detail that went into this, C tier. And finally, we have the Mr. Knight skin. Now, Mr. Knight is my favorite Moon Knight suit, and this is really great. I wish the vest was white too, but I understand they wanted more distinction. The mask is perfect, I love the golden tie, the watch is a great detail. Honestly, this is just perfect. Wait a fucking second. What's that? Oh, you didn't. Oh my god, NetEase, you put a fucking cape on this? Why? Why would you do that? Why the fuck would you do that? Seriously? No, but Arius, you don't understand. They needed a cape for gliding. Okay, then use his coat. You know his coat? The one he always has with his Mr. Knight suit? Just have that. Make it extend out. That would be leagues better than fucking this. I cannot overstate how much I despise this. It ruins the entire thing for me. F tier. Seriously, just F tier. I fucking detest this. Moon Knight just got a new skin called Fist of Vengeance, which is based on his MCU look, so it's a lot more mummy-like than it is tactical, and I like it a decent amount. I think I still prefer his base skin a little more though, but this is a solid skin. B tier. Namor. Ah, the Fish Rapist. The base skin is good, but a little basic. I think there should have been a bit more gold in his outfit, maybe at the tips of his shoulder spikes. His face looks a little off to me. I definitely think he'd look better with a beard. Overall, this is a pretty decent skin, but I just don't think I'm huge on Namor's design overall. I'm gonna say C tier. The Mauve Submariner recolor actually has some neat ideas. I really like how they changed parts on his arm to be way more shiny, sort of like bismuth and amethyst mix. I really wish his base skin did that with gold. This is an improvement over the original, but not enough for me to give it a higher score. C tier. Savage Submariner. Oh my god, you get what I mean about him needing a beard, right? Like, the combination of him not having a beard and the super tall crown makes him look like an Oblivion character with his long ass face. I think this skin would genuinely go up an entire point if he just had a beard. B tier. With the Black Panther 2 skin, we have... Oh, shit! That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what we were looking for. Look at how much better his face looks. It's genuinely night and day with how much better it looks. I just wish the rest of the skin were a little more... It's very little, which I know is how it looked in the movie, but it basically just looks like some guy in boxers with a bunch of jewelry on. I guess I just wish they did something to make it not look exactly like boxers. I have no problem with how revealing the outfit is. It perfectly fits a merperson, but this feels less like an Ocean King and more like a drunk stepdad. I like the direction they're going, but it could use a little work. B tier. Penny Parker. Penny is probably going to get one of the quickest reviews given 3 of her skins are the exact same thing. Starting with her base skin, yeah, I mean it looks fine. I will say if we look at the actual character model, I feel like her head is too big for her body, and something kind of makes her look childish. Apparently this version is meant to be 18, but her face looks like a 10-year-old strapped onto a 20-year-old's body, and it feels weird. C tier. For Olive Skimmer, this is just the exact same thing but green. C tier. Blue Tarantula. Okay, this is just the exact same thing but blue. This is probably the laziest skin in the entire game. For the Olive Skimmer, it makes sense it's just the same thing. It's meant to be. It's a recolor. But this is a Battle Pass skin. That's right, this is a full-on Battle Pass skin that's just the base skin turned blue with nothing else added on. I think it looks perfectly fine. In fact, I might prefer its look to the original, but putting it in the Battle Pass is so insanely lazy, I'm giving it an F tier just based on principle. And for the Venom skin, okay, they actually tried. I mean, it's not good, but they tried. Penny looking like a child is even more of an issue when they give her this goth look. It just feels so disconnected. This feels like a little girl who followed a YouTube makeup tutorial. But Penny's model doesn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things since you won't see it in gameplay. As for the robot itself, I like it a lot. I think it's better than the base one, but not by a huge amount, and while the model isn't hugely important, it does drag this down a little bit. So I'm also going to put it in C tier. Psylocke. Psylocke's base skin is alright, but it doesn't feel like anything flows that well. The scarf covering her mouth but not her nose makes it look like a really shitty oversized turtleneck, and combined with her really tall hair, it makes her head shape feel very oblong, which is something I've complained about with a lot of characters so far. I just wish purple was more implemented into the outfit given it's her key defining color. I think everything in red should have been swapped out for dark purple. I do like the scarf tail though and the way it trails off. And while it's a bit cluttered, I do like the way her chest piece looks. High C tier. The recolor just feels wrong. This feels like a weird fever dream version of the normal skin. This honestly looks like a modded skin to me. I just don't like it. D tier. The Vengeance skin fixes all the problems I have, and let's be honest, who the hell is using the base skin over this anyway? This is the Psylocke look everyone knows, and they adapted it perfectly. It looks amazing, and it's an obvious S tier. It flows together perfectly without any unnecessary clutter, and the red accents make it look better rather than just being distracting like on the base skin. And the hair plus makeup is great. Blood Caryudo, holy shit, this is so cool. I really feel like I should have more to say about this skin, given how much I'll endlessly bitch and moan about the ones I don't like, but man, I have nothing to say apart from it's badass. S tier. I love it. Rocket Raccoon. The furry little fiend himself. As someone who's only watched the movies and played the game, I was not expecting Rocket to have red eyes, and it's very hard for me to adjust. I do wish his weapon and everything else that's orange was a little bit more red to help match. I also really wish this game took inspiration from the Guardians game and had a little robot arm coming out of his rocket pack which would assist him holding the minigun. That little detail is really great and explains why he can hold a gun the size of him. I'm also not a fan of the mohawk. Overall, I just don't think there's anything outstanding about this base skin, and some of the decisions are questionable to me. C tier. Now the recolor. How do I explain this? This feels like a PFP a 2013 era Minecraft YouTuber would use who'd later be caught grooming minors and would go to jail. What the fuck is going on with those eyes? And dear God, the mohawk. They just made everything so much worse, and as if the Mountain Dew green wasn't bad enough, they gave his boosters a color I can only describe as sickly. This hurts to look at. F tier. The Guardians 3 skin is a monumental step up from the last one. The outfit is clean and the colors pop, his dumbass mohawk and weird red eyes are gone, although there is something strange with his face. I can't quite put my finger on it, I think to counteract the mohawk, his head is a little too stretched to the sides. Just a bit more height would do wonders for his face. This is a pretty good skin though, B tier. The Wild Winter skin actually makes the red eyes work. I really do like the eyes when they pop with the outfit like this. The colors are nice and they flow well. The hat fixes the problem of the mohawk and head shape as well. Honestly, this is the best look Rocket has, I think. A tier. And finally, we have the Bounty Hunter skin. The colors are good, the look is appealing, and the hat hides the hair. This just works. Nothing else to say about it. B tier. Scarlet Witch. Queen of Chaos herself, Wanda Maximoff. Her base skin is already really amazing. It's super striking and stands out in a crowd. I love that she actually has tan skin like she should, and the repeated use of triangles throughout the outfit is a really nice touch. A tier. The Nyx Weaver recolor is so close to being just as good as the base skin, but the little bits of red on her hands feel really out of place to me. They just kind of appear out of nowhere. Still great other than that though. B tier. There actually was another recolor exclusive to players in the closed alpha called the White Witch. This looks a bit unfinished to me, honestly. I think they should have doubled down on the monochrome and turned the red bits black. As for right now, it just feels like an unfinished texture version of the original skin. C tier. The Multiverse of Madness skin. They fucking whitewashed her! Oh my god, that's so funny. How is this a skin? They literally just turned her into the lady who screams at Starbucks baristas. Honestly, skin transformation aside, I just don't think the skin looks that good. I massively prefer her darker hair and skin color, and the rest of it feels very simple, not really in a good way. As with all the skins that are based on movies, don't take my criticisms too seriously because the devs were hugely restricted in what they could do. I think they did about as good as they could have with this, but I just don't like it. D tier. Imperium Matron is... Man, this is objectively a good skin, but something puts me off, and I don't really know what. I think they ever so slightly changed her face model, and I don't like it. Her hair is dope as fuck though, and I like how you can see particles through both her hair and her robe. I do wish the color palette was slightly darker than the base skin, however. B tier. Spider-Man. Your friendly neighborhood wall crawler. His base skin is... Look, I defended it for a long time, but honestly, the more I look at it, the more I dislike it. Why are his sleeves separated? Why does his belt not connect? What the fuck is going on with the black lines going down the back of his arms? And why does he have black line knee pads? Most rival skins are over-designed on purpose. It's part of the style, and I personally love it. And I think you can make over-designed Spider-Man suits that look good. I mean, I love the Homecoming suit, and that thing is covered in random lines. But this feels messy and uncoordinated. Oh my god, I just realized the back of his hands are blue. D tier. I actually think I might like the Chasm recolor more than I like the original, which is insane given its main colors are lavender purple and a turquoise which looks like it was made out of a mix of Colgate toothpaste and snot rubbed together. This just looks like it flows better and oh, for fuck's sake! They did the stupid shit with his arms again, except this time it's even worse because it's a color that doesn't appear anywhere else on the suit. Oh, D tier. Bagman Beyond. Alright, I'll be the asshole. I don't like the bombastic Bagman very much. Like, yeah, it's funny, and it's iconic enough, I get why it's in a lot of stuff, but as an actual look, it's just not what I want to wear. And this version feels even worse because instead of a Fantastic Four suit, he's just wearing random clothes I assume he found in a dumpster. Speaking of the Fantastic Four, I think the Future Foundation suit would have been an amazing costume for him in this game. Anyway, D tier with the rest. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 suit is basically just what the base skin should have been. This still has problems, but it feels way cleaner. The colors are deep and rich, the design is complicated but still works, and of course it just flows together. That's the word I really keep bringing up. A good skin needs to flow together properly. The one part of this I don't like is his arm bracer things. The white looks good for the spider logo and the outline, but this just feels random and out of place. Just these big armor plates that come out of nowhere. This is leagues better than the rest, but I'd still only put it in C tier, honestly. Please, NetEase, just stop overcomplicating these suits too much. Alright, what's next? Oh my fucking god. Alright, this isn't too bad. In fact, I like large portions of this. But where it all falls apart is the arms. The shoulder pads are clunky and don't fit the sleek aesthetic. Same for his horrid arm bracers. And these bits of gray that break up his metal arms are horribly ugly and I really hate them. And this is of course not to mention all the tech lines all over his pants. I really want to like this, but D tier. Now the next one is based on Kane's Scarlet Spider suit, but is only accessible by PlayStation players, so... Are you fucking kidding me? By far and away the best Spider-Man suit in the entire game is locked to one platform? God fucking damn it. S tier. Since I recorded the voiceover, they added another actually good Spider-Man skin. I can't believe it. Spider-Punk 2099. My only real complaint is that since the jacket makes his torso bigger, it makes his legs look very thin, sort of like how Miles has in the Insomniac games. But the rest of this is absolutely perfect. I especially like the attention to detail with his mask glitching. A tier. Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl's base skin is clean, simple, and effective. There's not much going on here, but there doesn't need to be much more. Now that's not to say it's going to blow you out of the water, but I don't think you could have adapted this look better. Also, Tippy Toe is adorable and I love him. B tier. I've never seen someone use the Arctic Lemur recolor, but honestly, I might like it even more than the original. It even matches Tippy Toe better, and this cool blue grayish tint is just really appealing to the eyes. B tier. Cheerful Dragoness. I fucking hate this. Out of all the characters you could have given a Kunlun skin, you chose Squirrel Girl? Why? Who thought this was a good idea? Her dragon tail is the main offender here. I mean, this thing just looks like it came out of some furry Rule 34. I bet it's all slimy and shit. And the actual look itself is just not for me. What's with that hair? Again, why would you choose this character of all things? D tier. Her final skin is Urban Hunter, and I quite like it. It feels very vintage. It's clearly inspired by the 1960s, and I don't think we have enough skins in the game which look older. I'd love to see some noir Spider-Man and some Joe Fixits at some point to flesh out some of these old-feeling skins. Also, the emblem on her jacket is amazing. I'm also going to go ahead and put this in B tier since I don't think it quite cracks into A tier. Star-Lord. Star-Lord's base skin is fantastic, an immediate A tier. The reason it's not S tier isn't because it's lacking anything, it's just because it doesn't have something to completely stun me. I will say it's weird to see him with a blue jacket. After the movies and the games, I can't help but associate Quill with that red jacket, and this feels slightly wrong. But hey, that's what the recolor is for. Bam, another immediate A tier. This just feels right. But I do prefer the blue version of everything else, like the belt, the eyes, and the shoes. I wish I could combine these together into one perfect version. As with all the other Guardians 3 looks, it's clean, it's snazzy, it looks good, and it doesn't do anything crazy. But I do really love this version of Star-Lord's face. His hair and beard are just perfect. A tier. Master of the Sun looks like a sex offender. F tier. And finally, Lion's Mane is my least favorite of the lion skins. This just feels like a weird choice to give one of these skins to Quill. He doesn't fit this theme in the slightest, and the hair and mask just feel wrong on him. The skin is actually really popular, apparently. I think like 50% of the Star-Lords I see are using the skin, so apparently I'm in the slim minority here, but I've never been a fan of it. D tier. Storm. This is another one of those godlike base skins. It sits just on the cusp of S tier, but I'm gonna give it A. I love everything about this. Gold is literally always perfect as an accent color, and I really love the massive X she has on her cape. This is all not to mention her banging hair. But if that's an A tier, this is an S tier. The white and gold flow together all the way up perfectly, going from the boots all the way to her hair. Oh, please God, shock me. Not gonna lie, I think these two skins existing kinda harms her only actual paid skin, Mohawk Rock. Cause like, you could get the Ivory Breeze for skin, and this one is still cool, but it's obviously a step down. This is all a matter of preference, and a large reason I'm not rating this skin really highly is because I just don't like the punk look. But one actual issue I have with this skin is how low her stomach looks. The pants dip down in this weird, awkward way, and it makes it look like her pants are pulled ridiculously far down. B tier. Since I recorded the voiceover of this video, they actually added a new Storm skin, Goddess of Thunder. Now, I think this looks fucking great. It's super slick with basically only 2 colors, and this shade of blue is really easy on the eyes. Everything flows together really well, and the only part of it I have a problem with is the hair. I actually love the main afro thing she's got going on, but then they have this weird floof in the front that's separated from the rest of it with a hair tie. It looks really weird and would be so much better if they just removed the hair tie and let her hair flow out normally. B tier. The Punisher. Frank is as wide as a tank, but damn does he look good. I've always thought the Punisher looked really silly with face paint, but this managed to do it in a way where it feels really natural and pulls the whole look together, just by lowering the opacity on it and making it blend in more with his face. Needless to say, the tactical look works great with a character who's literally a Marine. The Punisher proves the 3 undeniable facts of the universe. Death, taxes, and the fact that no matter how many superpowers you have, you do not want to be on the wrong end of a USAS-12 auto shotgun. A tier. The camo recolor just makes him dirty. This just looks like he swam through someone's septic tank. Who would buy this? Who looked at this base skin and said, "Boy, mate, he looks great, but I'd really prefer if he was caked in shit"? C tier. Thunderbolts. Ah, god damn it. My arch nemesis. Awful face coverings. Can we please stop with the James Somerton turtlenecks? They never look good, and it sucks because everything else about this is phenomenal. I especially love the detail of the kunais in his bracer and the skulls on his kneecaps. This whole skin just looks intimidating. A tier. Punisher 2099 is beyond god tier. Like, holy fuck, man. This is the most ridiculous, edgy, over-the-top, action figure-ass, Power Ranger-looking motherfucker I've ever seen, and it's filling my blood with testosterone. I need to look like this. I must attain this in my day-to-day life. S tier. I feel emasculated. Hey, the New Yorker in orange. There's obviously not much to say about the big lad made of rocks. He's simple by design. I do wish his shoulders were smoothened out. I'm not a huge fan of the sharp shoulders, but that's really just me looking for things to complain about. This is a good version of the thing. B tier. The recolor changes his diaper. How inspiring. I mean, it is better, I guess, but that's really all they changed. Why not make his orange deeper as well? It feels like such a waste to do this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this skin changes the least out of any skin in the entire game. B tier based on look, but F tier based on what you're actually getting out of it. And the trench coat, oh come on, you already know I'm giving that thing A tier. They nailed this. He really reminds me of Mr. X from Resident Evil 2, and that's a good thing. Thor. Thor's base skin is immediately getting an S tier for me. This is my favorite look Thor has ever had. He just looks like an old, experienced warrior, and this is definitely one from long after Odin died. And I love the addition of the fully metal gauntlets. This feels like a Norse god through and through. The Midgard Umber recolor is definitely a step down. The white hair was part of what made the base skin work so well, so switching it to blonde feels like it loses part of the charm. And the blue makes the whole thing feel really muted. Nothing really pops at you. B tier. Reborn from Ragnarok feels like the version from EMH ripped straight out of the show and put into the game. This is a flawless adaptation of that look, but that's not to say that the original look is perfect. Thor honestly just looks weird without the beard, like he's naked or something. And I've never really liked Thor having his hands exposed. It makes him look like less of a warrior, I guess. I don't know, something's just weird about it to me. B tier. Oh god, who faded my boy up? Herald of Thunder is just so meh to me. Let's start with the good stuff. I like the cape. I've always been a sucker for these effects. I think the bracers are great, but man, this hair is so fucking bad. And the lack of a beard just cements it further. He looks like a blonde version of Elrond from Lord of the Rings, and that is not a good thing. C tier. You know, for a movie of the quality of Thor Love and Thunder, the skin isn't horrible. It's way too fucking busy in the midsection and overcomplicates itself to Helheim and back, but it's not, like, atrocious to look at. I'll give it a C tier. And of course, bearded Thor is always a good thing. Venom. Venom's base skin is exactly what I want to see from the character. I really have no complaints to make. The symbol is great, the tendrils are great, this is just great. A tier. Now, the anti-Venom recolor is a really cool idea, but I don't think it fully works out. Anti-Venom is definitely one of those things I think looks good in comics, but doesn't look so great in the 3D rendered space. And the horribly tinted eyes are certainly doing no favors. C tier. Venom actually had another recolor called Cyan Clash, which was only available for members of the beta. Honestly, I'm not too upset I missed out on this. I think it's better than Anti-Venom, but not by a whole lot. I'm still gonna give it C tier. I think it would have worked better as a darker blue, or maybe they could have even gone for a red palette to reference Carnage. The Snow Symbiote is absolutely fucking wild. I cannot believe they made this for a Christmas event. It makes him look like an ice demon coming to reap your soul. This man would scare kids, and I appreciate that. High A tier. Lingering Imprint. I feel conflicted on this one. It's good, but it's supposed to be based on Agent Venom, and well, it looks nothing like it. It's funny because I think the entire problem just stems from the description claiming it came from an Agent Venom comic. If they claim this was an original design, which it basically is, then there'd be no problem at all. But because of them doing that, I kind of have to drop it by a point or so because this just isn't Agent Venom. Now, if we look at the skin itself, it's actually pretty good. I'm not a big fan of the two different tones of yellow though. It looks fine on his front, but on his back it's a bit off since his spine column is the only thing glowing in the light yellow while everything else is dark yellow. It makes it pop out in an ugly way. B tier, but barely. Okay, this literally just came out, but they're including this special orange recolor of Venom with the costume coin bundle. Honestly, this just looks like if Venom was dipped in Fanta. I feel like I should dislike this, but for some strange reason I actually kinda like it. It's not as good as the base skin for sure, but it's easy on the eyes. B tier. Finally, the Space Knight skin, which does not get the praise it deserves. Fuck all of you guys, I'm putting it S tier, this looks amazing, you're all wrong. Winter Soldier. Bucky's base skin is another example of a skin that's perfect for what it is, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily amazing. Overall, I like it, but it's a bit bland. The camo green obviously fits a soldier, but it's kinda just all green. Nothing about his outfit feels visually distinctive, and the back feels pretty plain. Which, as I've said before, is a bigger problem than it might seem at first since you're going to be looking at his back for the entire time. I do love this arm though. I've always felt like his arm in the MCU was too small. I don't know, it fits his arm size, but it never felt like it would be powerful enough to knock back a car or whatever. This arm though, this feels like it could crush someone's skull. B tier. The Navy Trooper recolor makes his bland color pattern pop way more. I 100% think this is better than the base skin, and I like the touch of making his star glow blue. A tier. Revolution. Starting with the positives, I love the cape, and I really like this arm design. Although I think it's a huge missed opportunity to have a glowing red star on the shoulder. They for some reason decided to paint it on his other shoulder pad instead. I don't really know why, just kind of throws off the whole look. The torso and pants are obviously a bit barren, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but where the problem started with is with his head area. First off, they added the fucking bane of my existence with one of these oversized shit-ass turtleneck things, and the hair just doesn't really work for me. I actually don't think the hair looks bad in theory, it just doesn't really work with the rest of this skin. It feels like this skin is sort of building up to his head, and then it gets there and it feels small and underwhelming. I would have preferred his standard long hair, or maybe even longer hair. I do like that he doesn't have a mask in this one though. B tier. Blood Soldier. God, all of the gothic outfits look amazing in this game. I mean, where do I start? The hair is simple and clean, but it works. His arm is a work of art, and this gun looks like a hand cannon. This is all not to mention the coat, which pulls everything together. I especially love the emblem on the back and how it connects to the golden arm. Perfection. S tier. Wolverine. And for our very final character, Logan. Now, I'm conflicted on what to say about this base skin, because I actually don't hate this. The problem is that it's his base skin, and it looks nothing like what you'd expect from Wolverine. It feels sorta unfair to dock points just because it's his base skin, but I docked points from Jeff's Incognito skin because it'd get in the way of gameplay, so I'm gonna have to factor this into the ranking. For positives, I really do like the colors of his jacket. They nailed the X-Men color theme. The emblem looks great, and I love how long his claws are in this game. It feels like so many depictions make them short and stubby, and this feels way more intimidating. The cons? Everything else. Without any sort of helmet, his head just feels so flat, and I know that's to give space for his hair to flick up in his rage mode, but it looks so wrong without it. I think they should have given him a minor hair flick permanently, and then just made it get larger for his rage. As for right now, this just feels weird and not like Wolverine. I want to like this skin, but D tier. His lone wolf recolor just takes the few parts I complimented and removes them. Why? This is just a shittier version of an already lackluster skin. I won't give it F tier since it's not offensive to my eyes, but it's going at the very bottom of D tier. Blood Berserker. In keeping with the theme of all Gothic return skins, this is gas. His hair and hat combo kind of remind me of Alucard from Hellsing. The blood cape thing looks really amazing, and combined with his waving hair, it makes his back feel really alive, which is great for actually using the skin. And these claws make my non-existent pussy sodden. Like bro, fucking look at these things. As with every other Gothic Return skin in the game, this is going firmly S tier. And for the final Wolverine skin, we have Deadpool and Wolverine. This is exactly what I wanted to see out of a Wolverine look, and man, it's so fucking good. This is what Wolverine looks like in my head. If you're a Wolverine main, you have to get this. The ears on it fix the problem of it feeling flat. I love the comic booky white eyes. His proportions are exactly right, feels really wide and short. It's honestly hard to come up with stuff to talk about with a great skin compared to a bad one because this all just works. S tier. And that concludes not just Wolverine skins, but every skin in the game. All 164 of them. Jesus Christ, that's so many. This script has a whopping 12,000 words in it. I really want you to just simmer on that. I never asked for this, but if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I spent so long writing this. And as always, a massive thank you to my patrons, Daddy Helion, Dee Dee, and Drix. Have a good night, everybody.